I talk about it in terms of if you were to imagine similar to learning, where we have like developmental growth over time, but also depending on our supports. A teacher who is an expert would be at the peak. And at that peak, what I've found in research with expert teachers of various ages, grades, subject areas, different areas of the country, is that they had certain awarenesses in order to do their work that were not just specific to their practice. They had a really in-depth awareness of their learner, which is not surprising, right? They did understand they were focusing on a theory of a learner when they taught. They had an awareness of their teaching practice, which of course includes things like time management and routines and so on. But they also had an awareness of context, meaning that they recognized the type of school they taught in mattered to how they did their work, the mandates that their state or city or country had, the families that their children came from, basically, and anything external of their classroom. They also had an awareness of interaction, meaning that they not only recognized that they were in an interaction with their students, which is quite sophisticated, but they realize that there are different types of interactions. Some are based on love, and you do it because you care about your kids and they care about you. Others are based on, almost like tough love, like I'm going to wait until he does something and shows me some interest and motivation before I give any. And that there were varying types of interactions that you could have with one child all within the same day, or that you recognize children need to have amongst each other, and you actually kind of manipulate the situation in class that day to make sure they're having that interaction, or bring in another teacher, or have that teacher approach a child when you know you can't give them the interaction they need. That level of sophistication just in thinking about the thinking that is involved in that is really quite phenomenal, and not the way we talk to teachers about who they are. And then the last area is awareness of self. And it kind of speaks directly against some student-centered designs, and that was never the intent of student-centered. So I'm not going to say that I don't believe in and that I didn't practice as a teacher, but the idea that has also been taken in some scenarios to suggest that the teacher doesn't matter, that we could take out the teacher or replace the teacher or treat the teacher even as a tool, a replaceable tool, and it wouldn't matter. And instead, what these teachers were sharing is that they recognized and they had a certain awareness of themselves, that they knew everything that they did affected how they could interact with their children and how they could teach and their children could learn. And so it goes beyond just saying, I know I matter in the room, but it really is about who is, and I talk about it in terms of three selves. Who is my private self, and do I keep that private at all times and know that it's there? Who's the public self I choose to show? And who's the perceived self of how my children see me? And when you're aware of those, or any of these awarenesses, it doesn't mean you'll be a better teacher, right? This isn't best practice. It's not about good versus bad. It really is an understanding that only with awareness can you be intentional about shifting and learning. If you have no awareness, then you lack all control. And what we need is not to be controlling teachers, but to really teach teachers that they are the learner, and therefore they can control what's in the classroom themselves and really affect the interaction they have with children.